Good evening.
Hey.
I'll tell you what I've done today. Nothing. Nothing at all. I've, I've had about 3 interviews and that's it.
No.
And I'm tired already. Anyway, Adam, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you, Steve. Been well. I can't say I've done nothing. I have been really, really, really busy this last the whole of lockdown, but definitely the last month, and then this unexpected sort of coming back into it has been whilst I thought it would be a chance to take a little bit of time off, if anything, I've ended up being busier. So yeah, it's been fine.
For
No
some
complaints.
reason, I thought you lived in Australia.
Oh, right, okay, no. uh, I've lived in, I've lived in Scotland my whole life, and then 10 years ago I moved down to London. Um, couldn't just for various reasons. I mean, mostly for work. Couldn't live on fresh air and nice views. So yeah, I've been here ever since. But I mean, we're probably looking 2 more years at the most, and then we're wanting to go back to Scotland. So
You miss Scotland.
I do a lot. It's for me. It's home. It's where my roots are. It's where I mean, it's like, I mean, I've lived in Scotland from before I was 1 year. Before I was 1 year old. I think I had my first birthday in Scotland. So and I've been there ever since. So
Me
I've
and,
got.
me and Michelle, my wife, we went about 4 years ago to Scotland. First time ever.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, right, yeah. Well,
And
I'm
I
glad you had
loved
a good
it.
time. Yeah, no, I'm glad you had a good time. I mean, which part of Scotland did you go to?
We went to, what was that place called? The hotel called? Loch Lomond Hotel.
Oh yeah. I mean the Trossachs, which is what that area is called. It's it's extremely pretty. Yeah. I think we'd be looking at maybe going to yeah probably that round about that area. I think. I mean, I'm from the far north of Scotland, but after living in London for so long, I don't think I could. I don't think I could go back to living quite so far north. I think I'd like to, it'd be a little bit closer to Edinburgh. It would be nice.
Edinburgh, I love Edinburgh.
Yeah, it's a lovely city.
That brought me some memories about that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it did. I just want to catch up and find out how you've been getting on
Well, I mean, I've got,
with your music.
I've got, I suppose whilst I've had the money, I've pretty much I spent it all. I've recorded 2 new albums for next year.
Well done.
So, and I just thought, I've got the money now. I've got a whole load of songs. Let's just go and do it now. So I've done one that is going to be called Settler, and it's kind of more folky. It's kind of folky Americana stuff.
Yeah.
I've done quite well with that, especially in America, and I've got an American publishing label really interested in what the new album's going to be, and so far they really like what they've heard. So that's I think that's getting. I mean, that has been a whirlwind writing the songs for that, recording them, and then right now it's in the process of getting mixed and getting mastered. So that's all the kind of. I suppose I do the recordings, I do the singing, I do all the instrumentation, and then the mixing and the mastering is like it's like the polish that goes on the top. It makes it makes it sound like really high quality. So that's And then I've also been doing another album, which is kind of more my. I consider myself a songwriter, so I'm not really. I don't try to tie myself down too much into genres.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the album I did this year, at the beginning of this year, was called it's called Dial It Back, and it's very retro rock with a bit of a bit of country rock thrown in, and this new one's similar, but it's got a lot more of a soul element to it. So even though I've got this, there's electric guitars crunching away. I've got brass section on most songs. There's Hammond organ on everything, and it's a lot more. It's quite upbeat, and it's just another part of my songwriting thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to both of those coming out. I think the folk album Settler will definitely be the first one out, and that'll be. I'm looking. I think 20 24th or the 25th of January. I can't remember. It's terrible, but I cannot remember exactly what date Burns Night is. But it's going to be. It's going to be on Burns. In Burns Night.
All right.
I'm going to put it out. So there's a lot of songs on there are specifically about Scotland. They're not all about Scotland. I think I've got 12 songs on the album, and 4 of them are Scottish. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that.
It's that folk music then.
I mean, it's my version of folk music. So it's folk music, but I'm playing it with. So I'm using on this album. I'm playing the guitar, the banjo, the mandolin, fiddle, resonator guitar, and the bowron, which is a Celtic drum.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of using a mixture of Celtic folk instruments as well as country Americana instruments, and so the songs, a lot of them sort of deal with I suppose Scotland, not just Scotland's, but Ireland, and sort of European influences into early America. So as it's my belief that country music came across the Atlantic from Scottish and Irish fiddle tunes. They mixed it with the blues, and you've got country music. So it's like so I'm always interested in those, in the roots of country, and because they come from this side of the pond, I feel as a British musician, I'm fully justified in playing country music. I don't think the Americans own it. I think it's something that British artists can put their heads up and say, "Yep, we play country music too." So
Because sometimes they look at it as folk. What's the big difference between folk and country music?
I would say folk is probably more interested in telling a story, and it's the words that really matter. Sometimes, they say folk musicians spend 10 minutes talking about a song, then 3 minutes playing it. It's about I think a lot of folk music tends to talk about things that might have happened in the past. I mean, not always, but and they're and it's about the story. Having said that, I think country music is all about, or certainly used to be all about the story as well. but country music's also interested in having a nice chorus in it, and you know, and it tends to follow a similar structure in terms of the chords that are used. You can usually tell a country song in the way that the like how much I've got a guitar here, so you get that kind of
Yeah.
like, and I think folk music doesn't always have to have that sort of strong sort of rhythm to it. I think I think maybe country music, a lot of it came out of music that you could also dance to. So it's a lot of country music's. I write a lot in waltz time, and I write a lot in a 6/8 time signature, which is kind of like your that's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and it's and you get those. I think with those, with country you can combine a good story, a nice tune, and something you can dance to. I think folk music you can't always dance particularly easily to a folk song.
No, not at all. No. What's your first song you want to play us?
Oh, okay, right, yo. So I'm going to do a song. This is one of the songs off the new album. So I've kind of I've adapted it a little bit just to be to play with just with one guitar. On this song on the album, I've got every instrument's been played. I've got the fiddle, the mandolin, the resonator guitar, which is a guitar that you play on your lap with a steel bar.
Yeah.
So this one's, the album titles, it's called Settler. And I think to an extent, we're all settlers and that we've all traveled somewhere. I mean, it might not have been us, but, it might have been our parents or our grandparents. We've all had to, for example, America it's got people from all over the world have basically came to America and settled down there. I would say the same for Scotland. I mean, my area of Scotland is we've got Pictish, Celtic, Roman, and Viking, and also I suppose like original Anglo-Saxon settlements that have I think everyone's moving around and traveling over the years, and at some point you make a decision to settle down. So this song, it's called Letter from San Fran, and it's really about a young man who's he's made his way to San Francisco to find his fortune, and he finds that he can't. He's got himself trapped there by the bright lights and all the sort of good times that are available, and all the money that that his family gave him to get there. He's spent it all. So here we go. It's called Letter to San Fran. Dear mother, I wish I could tell you that I made my fortune in gold, but I squandered away all the money saved to send me out here with your hopes. I was driven here by despair and hunger, hard times for family back home, by wind in the sail and wheel upon the rail. I came here with fire in my soul, but I never got past San Francisco. Saloons and her opium dens, card games and girls became my whole world, and I got me new friends. I bought all my comforts with money, for all of my pleasures I paid. years of the poppy, I spent much more than I made. My friends left along with my money, and the money left a long time ago. It went along for the ride, my health and my pride. Now I'm sick and I'm lonely and cold. Now all the gold in San Francisco won't buy back the life I wasted away. I'm gonna die here in San Francisco. So please send this letter back home. I'm in my grave. I've sold the watch that you gave me. I sold my warm winter coat. I'll buy one last night of earthly delight with women and whiskey and smoke. My heaven's a whorehouse in Frisco. An opium pipe is my dream. But a bottle of booze and a hand I can't lose will give me back my self-esteem. Now all the gold in San Francisco won't buy back the life I wasted away. I'm gonna die here in San Francisco. So please send this letter back home. I'm in my grave. So mother, I wish I could tell you that I made my fortune in gold, but I squandered away all the money saved, and that story's about to be told.
Well done.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, I was popping away there, and I was watching my wife, and my wife was going,
Oh, good.
and we were just dancing away there, weren't we?
Well, it's got like I think when you hear it on the album, it's because it's got the drums in it and it's got boom, tsh, boom, tsh, you know, it's a lot more.
Much better in that.
It is a bit more dancey and it's a bit more kind of upbeat, and it's upbeat, but it's also a lot darker, you know. So yeah.
And where can people buy this album then?
Well, I'm hoping it'll be available on Spotify, as I put everything on Spotify. I also put everything on Bandcamp, so that, you know, the sort of links to Spotify and Bandcamp, you can get them on my website, which is www.malcolmmacwatt.com. And I don't know whether I'm going to put it on CD. I've done everything else on CD, but I only sell CDs when I've got gigs. You know, it's like it's one of these things that I take to gigs and I sell them, and I make some, you know, I actually make money from CDs from gigs. And yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's one of these things. It's like I would say with my, I think I'm at the stage now where I just about break even on what it cost me to record by the time I've sold CDs, and I get, you know, and I get my payments from Bandcamp, and I get my payments from, well, I get very little from Spotify, but I think, but you know, it all adds up, and then I'm a member of the PRS, so my PRS royalties, they kind of, because I get a lot of I get a lot of radio play, so all those little royalties amounts, they all add up, you know. So but CDs, yeah, CDs actually, they're a good, they're a good source of income for me because I was playing a lot, but I can't, with the best will in the world, even with, even if there is a vaccination and everything, I still think I think live music is going to take. I think it'll take at least until the end of next summer before things start even getting
Get back together again. Yeah.
slightly back to normal. I mean, I've got a couple of festivals lined up for next year, and I hope they happen. But I'm sitting here thinking, well, they might not. So and I think I've seen it. Just about all of my gigs have disappeared. Yeah, I mean, so CDs. I'll have a think about it. It might save me a little bit of money not having to produce. I mean, and not having to get the CDs made. So I'll see. I mean, I like CD, to be honest. And most of the people who I know who are serious about music still listen to CD.
Yeah, I do.
I think. I mean, I know there's a new resurgence in vinyl, and I mean, I get it. I understand why people like it. There's something very analog and very very real about vinyl. But at the end of the day, I sold hundreds of LPs, and I replaced them all with CD. And I'm not gonna, I've got no plans to, get back into vinyl. I think I'll hang on to my CD collection.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So are you still selling CDs?
I've got a few. I mean, I don't have a huge amount left, but yeah. I mean, if anybody wants a CD, yeah, you can. If you just contact me directly, either through Facebook or, and I'll send one out. It's a $5. Doesn't matter what CD it is, whether it's an album or an EP. It's £5, and that includes the postage as well. So it just, I mean, all those things. Like I said, they're all there on my website. If people want to get me if people want to get a CD off me, I mean, brilliant. I've actually just a way to send one. I've got it all wrapped up. It's all ready to send out to. Where's it going? I think it's Bosnia or somewhere tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, I still do sell CDs. It's just, I think from a musician's point of view, I do like the whole digital thing. I'm a big fan of Bandcamp. I think what I like about Bandcamp is the quality of the actual download is really high. So you're getting it in FLAC or WAVE, which is miles better than MP3, and it's pretty much exactly the same quality that's coming out, that the song left the studio at, so I mean, I'm always happy, I'm always happy when people use Bandcamp because they're getting to hear what I actually recorded. I think on Spotify, it's been compressed so much, to make it stream quick that you don't get a fraction of of what the sound actually sounds like. The song sounds like. So
Spotify is just a money making machine, isn't it?
I mean, it's not for the artist. It makes nothing for the artist. It's just something that you have to have. I mean, unfortunately, promoters, the first thing they want to see is what's your Spotify account like. How many listeners have you got? What you doing? And I think, well, it's kind of annoying because, I mean, I see it. I see it myself. You can tell when artists are buying themselves streams. You're buying. You can pay some company, a heap of money, and they
give you a fake stream.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but all of a sudden, you've gone from having, 10 streams a day to 1,000 streams a day, and you think, me personally, I don't go. I don't like the idea of that. I just like keeping You know, like if I get 10 streams or 20 streams or 100 streams, I mean, that's, so long as it's streams that are actually real, that's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that's all that matters.
That's what it's about, though, isn't it? Being real, isn't it?
I mean, I know why people do it, because music's about giving, a lot of the music business is about giving an impression of how well you're doing, but I think anybody you can look at you can look at their Twitter account, you can look at their Facebook and their social media, and I mean, I engage as much as I can, and I'm not out there chasing thousands of followers. I'd rather have a few followers who were following, who were interested in what I was doing, than than just going out and having everybody and his dog following me and never listen to a song. So it's yeah. I think at my age, I'm totally realistic about what I want from music and what I think music can give me, and so I'm not I'm not going to lie about anything. It is what it is.
What do you think about agents or promoters?
What do I think about what? Sorry, Steve.
What do you think about agents?
I mean, I think they've all got their place. It's like I think for so many, for a lot of musicians, their prime focus is the music, writing the songs, getting them out there, doing the recordings, and you can't avoid the fact that music is also a business, and not everybody's got a business head, and not everyone wants to have a business head either. I mean, I think for a lot of people, you'd rather leave that side of it to somebody else, and so I think that's totally valid. You to have an agent, to have a manager, to have a promoter working on your behalf to do that. Me, this is what I do. I mean, this is my full time. Since last January, this is my full time. I hesitate to call it a career because like I make a fraction of the money of what I used to make when I had a proper job. But it's I've got the time to do this on my own, and I like doing it on my own, and I like. I think I've learned so much about the industry, and that for me personally, I don't think that I need. I don't think that I need a promoter. I don't think I need an agent. It might happen next year because I'm in the process of discussing a publishing deal with an American company, and they want to promote the folk side of me or the Celtic side of me in America, and so I'm going to have to sign away a part of my life there because they're not going to do it for free, but they have contacts that I don't have, so it's like so I think I'll see. It's something I still think as an artist you should try and do as much of that stuff as you can, because it gives you a really good idea of the industry that we're in. It also helps you to.
It's hard, though, isn't it? It's an hard industry, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, it's soul destroying, to be honest. And I think maybe if you're younger, and you're maybe not used to hearing the word no, then it can be hard. And I think maybe that's maybe better to have a promoter and to have an agent shielding you from that side of it, and they do all the work. Me, I'm used to hearing all those, because I've gone through, I've had to push myself through those doors and get myself in. And sometimes it's a case of not taking no for an answer and politely keeping going. I mean, at the end of the day, I think to myself, I've only been doing this for 2 years, exactly 2 years in November. In fact, November the 7th was my first that was the first album that I put out on my own, you know, and that's when I decided, you know, that this is you doing this. Um, you know, I think it's something that who knows, you know. I mean, maybe next year, maybe in a couple of years, I might end up, you know, going back and getting a proper job again. But at least I can say to myself, you know what, you gave it a go. You gave it a go. You did. You gave it your absolute best shot, and you did it yourself. And you know, and so it's if things happen, they happen, and if they don't, they don't. And you know what, I'm happy either way because you know I think this last few years has been really it's been very fulfilling for me and exciting, and I've met some amazing people. You know, I've got to play places that as a kid I used to I used to dream about. You know, I used to think, oh man, I'd love I'd love to be up there playing that stage. You know,
What places have they been then?
well, you know, I mean, for me, it's probably it's all these little venues in London that you know, because I used to come down to London, uh, you you know, like when I was a kid, well, when I was 15, 16, just to see bands that I'd never get to see up north, especially during the whole sort of punk time and the whole sort of you know, the whole pub rock scene. You know, it's like, and I never, you know, I would never get to see all the bands that I wanted. And my mum lived in London, so I could come down to London, and you know, I could go to all these venues that were, you know, I mean, the Half Moon in Putney was one of those. You know, I've seen so many amazing bands there. Uh, you know, at the Dublin Castle in Camden. I've played like so the Bedford, which is you know, that's where people, you know, it's where folk like Ed Sheeran got his first gigs, and you know, you know, the Dublin Castle in Camden was, you know, like that was like Amy Winehouse's sort of main gig, you know. So it's like you know, there's all these places that you know, that I think, you know, I'd never have had got a chance to, you know, I think, you know, I've been up on those stages and I've played them, and I mean, sometimes not always for me, you know, sometimes I've played them, you know, like I played some bigger concert gigs as a guitarist for other people. You know, it's you know, I mean, I've played the guitar for, you know, I'll play the guitar for, you know, whoever wants to, you know, whoever wants to pay me to play the guitar, you know, I'll do it. But it's like you know, but this is like it's just been a, you know, the last couple of years it's been a dream come true. So you know, I'm happy enough. You know, if it goes better, great. If it doesn't, you know.
What's the next song you're going to play out?
Right. So I'm gonna do I'm gonna do this one. It's called. So this one's gonna be. It's another new song. This is gonna be. This is not from the folk album. This is from my kind of country rock R&B soul-y album. So this is. It's got a lot of. I've got a backing singer on this one, and actually, I'm kind of singing this song as a duet with a girl called Claire Portman. So we're kind of doing this one as it's like a love song, and it's just country music, so it's a love gone wrong song. So I think, and it sounds. I've recorded this already. The only thing I have to do on this song is to do the main vocals, and it's a bit awkward this year because of COVID. Claire and I, we can't be in the studio at the same time. The studio is not big enough to have you know, three people all jammed into it. So we're doing the vocals separately. So this album won't be finished until December the 24th. It'll be all done and dusted, and I'll put it out. I'll probably put it out in February, maybe, you know. And it's going out as Mal McQuat and the Glass Mountains. The Glass Mountains is the name of my band. Although for this album, the band are there for me to play with to play live with. And this album, I've done everything on my own, but apart from the keyboards, which has been, like a different. So it's kind of like, and that's mainly just down to. It's mainly just down to COVID restrictions. It's been easier to be able to do this. Just me going in and playing all the parts, as opposed to trying to get a heap of people in and trying to play it with the band. It's too.
Too risky,
It,
yeah.
it was, yeah. The studio weren't happy to have so many people in. So here we go. So this is kind of more of a. It's called "Let Me Down Gently." Something's not right. It hasn't been for a while. I see it in your silence and the effort of your smile. By the distance in your eyes, how you're always on the phone, by just how many times you say you need to be alone. When you lie in bed, pretending to be sleeping, your eyes are closed, but I know by your breathing, you're always late home from work. You started going to the gym more. I see your razor in the shower, and I wonder who you're doing this for. 'Cause I know it's not me. Let me down gently. Don't give me your honesty. Don't say you're setting me free for somebody better than me. No, no. Just let me down gently. Leave me with some dignity, and say you never forget. You'll always regret letting me go. It's gonna be hard letting you go. I can't stop you leaving, but I just want you to know that for my own self-respect, I might put up a front, but I'm ready to change myself into whatever you want. I'd do anything, let me down gently. Don't give me your honesty. Don't say you're setting me free for somebody better than me. No. Just let me down gently. Leave me with some dignity. Say you never forget. Always regret letting me go. Just leave me with some pride. Say you really hate to hurt me. Say you're crying on the inside and you truly don't deserve me. But seeing as you're letting me go, then give me something now to break my fall. Ah, but better still, hold me tight. Don't let me down at all. Yeah, but better still, hold me tight. Don't let me down at all.
Brilliant.
Thanks. There's I've got a guy from Leeds who's playing pedal steel over that, so it sounds all, all very sad so yeah. So thank you.
When you do all your songs, are you in the shower or what, or in bed, and you're thinking, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think for me, songs. I'm always writing. My head is just full of words. It's. I think. I wake up in the middle of. I mean, literally 3 a.m. Bang. I'm bolt out of right in bed, and I'll sort of grab my phone and I've always got a document open, and I can just I can just put down ideas. I actually do get a lot in the shower. They just I think when you just relax and you're just kind of not thinking about anything in particular, there's always a song comes through. I mean, I write hundreds of songs a year. It's I don't know. I mean, in some ways it's great, but in other ways it's almost like a sickness. Yeah, it's like there's times that I would like to do something else. I'd like to just sit and read or watch a movie, and as I'm doing it, there's ideas and there's songs coming in your head. So I'm thinking on and actually fact, it's funny because I started writing over the last couple of weeks. It's like I've thought, because I know I can't record the amount of songs that I write. Sorry, I've got and the otherwise it would just cost me a fortune. I can never do it. So I think what I'm going to try and do is write less songs, and I'm going to start writing a lot more little short stories and things that might be just as satisfying to write, but I don't then have to feel that I have to go and record it. Because it's just it's just expensive. And I think maybe then that way, if something really amazing comes along, and I think, what, that has to be a song, then I can do, I can work it that way. But yeah, I have a, if I even, it's something, even when I'm talking about songwriting, I might start stammering because it's like there's all these words just want to come out, and I just feel like I can't get them out, I can't get them out quick enough. So it's the songwriting thing. It's sometimes it feels, I wouldn't, curse is a strong word. It's not a curse. I mean, it's a gift most of the time, but there's times, I would like to just sit down and not write a song, but I can't.
Do you have a faith?
As in like a religious faith.
Yeah.
Nah, I would say that I'm a very spiritual guy. I do believe in I believe in something. I just can't, I can't quite. Maybe I'm kind of keeping options open. It's like I think there are so many religions that I think, well, there's probably something in all of them, but that's a kind of a core truth there. But I don't think I could. I don't think I could follow any particular sort of doctrine. I don't, or anything that had too many rules and regulations. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I tend to think that. I mean, I don't really want to get into too many discussions about sort of religion, but I mean, I respect people's
Yeah.
Yeah, like I respect people's belief and their right to choose a belief. It's like might not agree with mine, and I think with religion, it's something that's it can be it can be misused as much as it's I think as much as it gives some people comfort, it's I think there's so many people out there, you know, willing to twist things for their own
Benefit.
personal ends. And I see it in all religions. I mean, yeah, I can see it with Donald Trump. But I mean, to me, I don't believe Donald Trump personally has got any real strong religious conviction. But if it gets him a few votes to hold a Bible upside down, then he'll do it. And I think, well, this isn't a guy that believes in anything other than in himself and in money. But so
But
I think let your actions
yeah,
speak.
speak for yourself. What's your most embarrassing moment when you're playing it in a gig? Come on, you
Uh,
got to have one.
Gigs. I mean, I think embarrassing moment at a gig. I think when you know what I think it's mainly
Yeah.
it's probably more when you're got a gig with I do a lot of gigs with other people. So sometimes it's you get these songwriter Nashville style rounds where everyone takes a turn at the mic and you're kind of and you might get 4 or 5 songs in the evening and you're and it was and I think for me sometimes if I've been calling somebody the wrong name all night and they haven't corrected me and I think oh what it's like I just maybe haven't done my research like and I haven't taken the time to find out. Yeah, I usually do. I think I think I'll always try to if I'm playing with people I don't know, I'll usually try and find out a little bit about them. And but sometimes if I've been calling them the wrong name all night, I think that's embarrassing because it shows a sort of a lack of professionalism on my behalf. Um, I mean, I've been embarrassed by playing in a band sometimes, and it happened a lot more in my younger days, and I was so too drunk to play, and I think that's really it's not embarrassing at the time, but it's embarrassing the next day when I think, oh, how could you have been so unprofessional to have just let yourself get completely drunk and then you're trying to play and you don't know the words and you're just making a complete fool of yourself, and but I would say now as much as possible I try to be as rehearsed and and I really appreciate the fact that if someone's come out to see me I want to give them the best of me as opposed to the sort of worst of me. So if I make a mistake or done something wrong, it's definitely a mistake, And
What's the worst place you ever played
uh,
at?
right, I would say a pub. A pub up in the. I'm not going to give it its name, but it's a pub up in the far north of Scotland, and they used to have back in the day there was uh, but they used to call them the Klondikers, and it was like Russian fishermen who would basically sort of roll up in their boats, and because European fishing rules would only allow the fishing boats to land so much fish, but sometimes they might have caught way more than they were allowed. I mean, the net, you would just luck into a great big catch. And so they would all go up to Ullapool and they would basically transfer their loads, and the Russians would buy it. Uh, these Russian guys, I mean, they were huge men, and and they'd get incredibly drunk, and the fighting, so you'd be playing these bars, and there's like literally you'd be in fear of your life sometimes. I remember playing a gig, and an actual guy, well, two guys came through from the outside through the window, right. I mean, right in front of me, and they're, and they're giving it this and that, and it was always doing, and it's funny because it was always doing the same songs. It's like it was always every time there would be always a fight with ZZ. Every time we played ZZ Top's "Sharp Dressed Man," there would be, there would guys would just start fighting, like, and I'm not much of a fighter, so these things would be, it'd be terrifying. It's like, so those kind of gigs where you'd be actually be scared, you'd be scared of getting hurt, So yeah, I've had some.
Yeah.
I'd plenty ones like that. I've had one gig where we played. It was a New Year's Eve. And this was in right out in the country, on a really snowy night, and it took us ages to get there. There was so much snow. It's like we got there and we set our gear up, and someone else in the town was having a party, and this venue, it was empty. I mean, we just played, to the dog and the barman. And after the first couple of songs, even the dog was like, oh, "I'm out of here," and we played to nobody. I mean, at 500 quid. I mean, it was the best paid practice we've ever had in our lives. But it's always a bit, as a band, you don't want to play to nobody. It's always a bit soul destroying. So yeah, that was.
You still get the money.
Yeah. But you got the money, but yeah, it in the early days it was about the money, because we, as a band, we just played all these venues in order to buy all our equipment. And once we bought our gear, we started playing our own stuff. And then, in actual fact, which takes me on to another gig. We got this gig booked for us as the Firewatchers, which was our original band. We went down to Perth to play it. So it was a good 3-hour drive. It was a good bit of money. So I thought, well, you know what, let's do it. We went down. Within 2 minutes of playing our own stuff, which was kind of like, our own stuff was a bit like the band The Waterboys. So it was that kind of folk rock, Van Morrison-y type stuff, And within 5 minutes, this bottle came whistling past my head, and it sort of smashed into the drum kit behind us. Actually broke a cymbal, and we looked out and we realised it was this biker's wedding. It was just, I think this sort of local chapter of whatever motorcycle club, and they were not wanting some bunch of folkies, sitting playing folk music. And so luckily for us, because we'd had all this experience of playing, as a cover band, we were able to just, turn off our own stuff and, play Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple and, ZZ Top and AC/DC all night long. So that kept them happy. So that was, yeah. Best gig I've ever played. Was a place called Scorig, which is it's a tiny little festival on the northwest tip of Scotland. You can only get there by boat. There's no other way into it, and it happened. The gig that we played happened to coincide with a Viking, a longboat festival as well. So we got ferried across, to this island, to this sort of peninsula on these amazing Viking longboats. As crossing the sea and the sun's going down, and it's like the sort of, I remember feeling, thinking I looked like, Robert Plant. It's like it was so cool. And yeah, we played this absolutely excellent gig. Out there. So yeah, There's some good times as well as bad.
Yeah, yeah. Anytime you get your good and you get your bad, don't you, all the time?
It swings and roundabouts, and you don't appreciate the good gigs until you've had some really horrible ones. So
Yeah, let's get the questions then before you can play your last song.
okay,
Um, have you ever played in Nashville?
no, I've got. I'll be honest. I've got no interest in. I've got no interest in that in Nashville as such. I'd love to go out. I mean, I was hoping to be playing this year down in Georgia. Yeah, I have some gigs kind of sort of lining up down that southeast coast of America. But Nashville, to me, I've never liked the music that came out of Nashville. I've always liked the music that came out of Texas, music that came out of Kentucky, but just not Nashville. It's kind of too commercial country for me. It's not my kind of. Yeah, it's not my kind of thing. I mean, I think, and I think, to me, Nashville just looks like a normal big city. I mean, it's like I would love to, I'd love to go and play somewhere in Austin, Texas. There's so much great music comes out of Texas, and and I said I'm hoping next year once we've maybe got this COVID thing under control a little bit more, and we can travel, and travel isn't horrifically expensive as it is at the moment. I can get a chance to get out to America because I really want to.
Rachel says, I'm a singer. Does it cost a lot of money to get recordings done?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's depends who you're working with. I mean, and I suppose it depends what you. It costs me, right? I mean, I don't mind saying what it costs me. I mean, it's costing me 150 quid a day to record, which for London is actually really cheap. And considering that the guy I'm working with is an absolutely amazing musician as well, so he's able to play all the keyboard parts that I want, all the drum parts that I want, the bass parts. Well, I mean, I might do some of the bass parts, but I'm working with somebody who's a phenomenal musician. So, in that sense, it's like I think to myself, well, you know what, I just it swings and roundabouts. I don't smoke now. I don't drink anymore. I'm not. I don't have any other expensive sort of hobbies. It's this. This is my life. So it's kind of like I think it's something that you've got to watch with the recording, because once that bug gets into you and you start hearing how you sound coming out of a studio as how you sound, just singing at home, it's such a big difference. It's and so you kind of it's hard to go back to. I mean, I record a lot at home, and then what I do is, in fact, the album I've just done, my folk album, I recorded everything at home. Fairly basic microphone. I'm not using expensive equipment, but once the recordings are done, then I send those song files to the guy that I normally work with. He's called Phil Deering, and he does all the mixing and all the mastering, and he makes them just sound amazing. It's like, so that's kind of money well spent as far as I'm concerned. So in one way, I'm saving money with by being able to record at home, but then I'm making sure that those songs go to a professional to make them sound as good as anything else that's out there. So yeah, I mean, does it cost a lot? Yes, I would say on average, most it's like a lot of studios would be at least twice the price, to record something. So it's it's just yeah.
Who do you admire?
Who do I admire?
Yeah.
As a, I would say for me, probably people like. I mean, everybody says Bruce Springsteen, but yeah, I do admire Bruce Springsteen for the simple reason I think that he just seems to be getting better as he gets older. I mean, his latest album, it's just phenomenal. Like and I think, well, he could easily retire, live off his off his all his former glory, and but he doesn't. It's like he's just he keeps on making music, and he's making better music now to me than I think he ever has done. So he's kind of like a bit of an inspiration in the sense that you know he's older than I am, and I think I think for a lot of people I think I just admire people who are still going. They haven't given up. They still just they just keep going because that's just what they do. It's
Yeah. What do you think about the music today, like chart stuff?
I don't know, Steve. I don't know because I never listened to any. I never listened to it. It's just for me. I almost stopped. In some ways, I haven't listened to anything past 1979. It's like I'm a little bit stuck in the past with my music. I think I mean realistically, the last music I was really into and listened to would have been in the mid 90s, and it probably would have been Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and that whole sort of Seattle grunge thing. I think I mean I've always liked country, I've always liked Americana, I've always liked folk music, but I don't listen to much music at home. Um, I think at home I like things to be quiet. I'm home alone pretty much all day, and I like. I barely watch television. I don't listen to the radio, and I hardly ever listen to music. I listen to music in the car. If I'm going somewhere, I've always got the music on. But at home, I never listen to stuff. So it's kind of like I, if it's. I think there's maybe some music that my daughter might be playing, and I'll go. Oh, I think she likes somebody called Leanne LaHavis, and I think, oh, that's pretty good. I like that. And there's a few other people that I probably couldn't even remember their names. There's a guy called Leon Bridges who she plays, and I really like a lot of his stuff. I think it's great. So
Right,
um, I don't listen to that much music, I suppose. So yeah,
yeah, that's fine.
a good question though.
Yeah, that is a good question. That's it. Can you play your last song?
Go on in, right? I'll play. I think yeah, okay, right. I'm gonna do one. Uh, this song is called. It's called The Crofter and the Cherokee, and it's from my current album, my current EP. It's called Scale, and it's done really well for me. And this has probably been the best release I've had in terms of the amount of plays I've got. It's that kind of folky sort of thing, and in Scotland we had 18th century, late 17th century. We had something called the Highland clearances, where basically the Highlanders they were pushed off their lands to make way for sheep. A sheep was worth more than a human being was, and a lot of the Highlanders moved to America, to Canada, to Nova Scotia at that time to try and make a new life. And at the same time that was happening, the Cherokee Indians were being moved out of Georgia because they found gold on Cherokee land. So the Cherokee ended up having something called the Trail of Tears, where thousands of them died on this horrible long journey through the winter. They died of sickness and disease and just the hardship. And So I felt that the Highlanders and the Cherokee, they're two people who don't believe that you can own land. That land's for everybody. How can you own a piece of land? It's just something that you're on. So I had the song, which was kind of set sort of back in those times. So it's here goes. Um, I'm standing here in Dalton, Georgia, looking back and looking east. I know there's a big wide ocean with the Blue Ridge Mountains between. My family roots run back to Scotland, poor and hungry looking west. They sailed across the sea to Portland and drifted south on another quest. The red dirt of Georgia's in my veins, blood of the red man runs there too. Reservations, relocations, the lies of the red, white, and blue. The Crofter and the Cherokee pushed out, forced down on their knees. The clearances and the trail of tears, the Crofter and the Cherokee. Burns said a man's a man for all that. They're stated ideals just the same. To treat all men fair and equal and all that. I hope someday we will again. Seems a man who suffered to extreme ends all too soon forgets his pain. He'll justify profits by all means. He'll keep a slave for his own gain. The Crofter and the Cherokee pushed out, forced down on their knees. The clearances and the trail of tears, the Crofter and the Cherokee. The Appalachian Trail is waiting from Georgia up the coast to Maine. 2,000 miles wild walking to retrace my steps home again. To retrace my steps home again.
That was really good.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I love your music.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Honestly, I really do love your music. I've got to get some CDs after this.
Well, just just send me your address and I'll pop a couple in the post. You'll be welcome to. You're welcome to them.
Thank you. And sign it.
Okay, I'll let you know now. My writing's awful, but yeah, okay.
Well, you've got to put it. When you come big anytime, I got my eBay, don't I?
That'd be awesome.
Thank you so much.
Oh man, you're welcome. No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for your time.
And cheers, Steve. Thank you.
It was from like 8 o'clock to 8:30, but I think it was like about an hour.
Yeah, we're about an hour and 10 minutes. We were, I think so. Yeah.
That's brilliant. I don't care.
Yeah.
Next time, be 2 hours.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
pal.
You're welcome, Steve. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye, all. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
See you. Thank you.
Brilliant. I love his singing. Honestly, it's down to earth guy. Really down to earth. I love his music, and go and get his CDs. Brilliant. Really nice bloke. See you at 9 o'clock. If I'm right. Yep. With Danny. Danny Rivers. My memory's gone a bit from you. So see you later on. Bye bye. Thank you.